I'm Kelly Sackett with Lee J. Sackett Incorporated. We are here at the Minnesota State Fair, and today's spotlight tractor is this 1949 Long Model A. We are going to put on the front decal, and then I'll show you how to start it.
Hi everybody, we're at the Minnesota State Fair, and we've had this long tractor built in 1949 done since about last November, but we never put the front decal on because we weren't sure what it was supposed to look like. So we got a piece of sales literature that we can roughly tell that it looked similar to this, and so we kind of came up with a design and sent it to a printer and got a vinyl decal made. So if somebody can give us more details about what that's supposed to look like, we're happy to listen, and maybe we'll modify and get another decal made. So I know I've seen a few other ideas about that on the internet, but based on the sales literature that we have, this is kind of what we've chosen to be as close as we can get. They may have only made 150 of these, no more than about 300 were built, so it's not like there's a lot of survivors out there that we can go to get that information. So we're going to try to put this on the front. I've got some tape, just blue masking tape, and first I'm going to just try to get it centered. We're going to measure up from this seam up to the tip on both sides and see where we ended up. So from the middle of the point down to the top of the seam is 45 millimeters. So then over here, same thing, about 48 millimeters. So I'm going to lower this by just a tiny bit. Hold that one there. This is all going to kind of go where it wants to go. And what I'm going to have to do is probably peel the backing off of this side and cut it in this area and lay this side down. Then I'll peel the other side back and cut it and try to run it the other direction. I'm going to make a tape line out here and just kind of follow this cut edge. It's just going to give me a guide to help keep this thing straight. Just using this tape so I can hold the backing. Now I can feel that. Okay, so now I've cut half of the backing. It would be very dangerous to try to do all this at once. So now I start out by trying to get this laid flat there. It's going to wrinkle too, so this is going to take some effort to keep the bubbles out because of this ridge right here. So I'm using my fingernail so I can kind of feel what's happening. And as I go, it should kind of settle down as it flattens out. That seems like it did pretty good. And I'm still in line with what I was doing before. So I followed my tape line real well, and now we're stuck. So there's kind of no turning back. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So because I cut the backing, now I've got a hinge. Just got to work it over that hump. It really wants to wrinkle right now. So I'm kind of stretching the vinyl. I'm getting there. I'm asking it to do things it wasn't meant to do. It wants to be flat. See these bubbles? So I'm working them out. Now I'm past here, and I just pushed a little bubble out there, so I just got to work these out. And it's just going to be a matter of kind of stretching it down, using my fingernail so I can put a lot of pressure on. I think we made it. That was actually one of the harder decals to put on because of all that contour we had to work with on the bump. This ridge in the middle made it challenging. So let's see what it looks like. This is the fun part. Or the sad part, if it's bad. So far so good. I slowed down right here in case it tried to peel that back, but it didn't, so that's good. And then I'm going to go real slow here too and just make sure it's not lifting. So there's a little bump. Yeah, that's better. This side went really well for some reason. Here it is.
So the decal went on really nicely. It was, like my dad said, pretty difficult in comparison to a lot of others just because of all this contouring, but it went on nicely. So now we're going to start it. The first step is obviously turning on the gas. Next we're going to make sure it's out of gear, and then we turn on the ignition and press this button. The Long Manufacturing Company of Tarboro, North Carolina began production of the Model A tractor in 1948. It is estimated that somewhere between 150 and 300 of these tractors were built. It features a Continental engine similar to that out of a Massey-Harris 30 tractor. The transmission and rear end were made by Timken. Timken also sold their rear end assemblies to other manufacturers such as Cockshutt, also sold as co-op tractors, and Sheppard. Mr. Long reportedly told folks years later that the tractors were painted IH red with John Deere Green Wheels. This made it easy for the crew at Lee J. Sackett Incorporated to confidently choose the colors for the restoration of this tractor. The sheet metal of the tractor resembles that of a Farmall H or M. This may be the reason that so few of these tractors were sold. Many speculate that IH issued a cease and desist order to Long for their similarity to the Farmall tractors. This particular tractor was in very rough shape. Fortunately, Mr. Strusz had a donor tractor, Massey-Harris 30, with a better engine. The crew at Lee J. Sackett Incorporated ended up rebuilding that engine and putting it in the tractor. The front axle was also in bad shape, so it was repaired using parts from a similar axle. The sheet metal was also bent, cracked, and rusty. Lee's team carefully straightened and repaired the original hood, grille, and gas tank to better than new condition. As repairs were completed, parts were sandblasted, primed, and painted. They were stored until the chassis was ready to be sandblasted and painted. Special plates were fabricated to protect critical areas of the chassis from the sandblasting process. Once the chassis was painted, the other parts were carefully installed. Custom-made decals, copied from the original photos and literature, added the finishing touch.